If this hand position looks familiar to you, with your hands back off the shifters on the corners of the bars, then you are definitely not alone, because this is a problem that we see in the Bike Fit studio all the time. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to go through the checklist to make sure that you can get your hands comfortably up onto the shifters. So we're back in the Bike Fit studio, and I wanted to do a video today on this particular problem of not being able to ride with your hands right up onto the shifters, because I know from experience that loads and loads of cyclists do just naturally tend to sit with their hands on the corners of the bars. And this causes all sorts of problems, from neck pain, shoulder pain, hand numbness, wrist problems. And it's essentially a very easy fix, because all we need to do is to get your hands up onto the shifters. But the catch is that there are many problems with Bike Fit that cause you to do this. This is just the symptom of many other issues. So I'm going to hopefully break this down and allow you to analyze your own fit and think about what might be causing this problem for you, and therefore you'll have a nice way to fix it. So a lot of the time, cyclists don't even know that they're doing this. This has just become some sort of habit to them, because for whatever reason, they've ridden a fit that's probably not optimal for them for many, many years. They're just in that habit of resting their hands in this position on the bars. So the first step is making sure that you're not doing that, because you might be doing it without even realizing it. So next time you ride, just see where you'd naturally put your hands and start thinking about it a little bit more. The next thing that most cyclists think of when they do notice themselves holding the bars in this position is that, oh, my reach of the bike must just be a bit too long, I'll just shorten my stem. And that could be the answer, but there's loads of other steps we need to go through first to make sure that we're not missing something else. And just like in any Bike Fit, we need to start from the back of the bike. Now, I'm going to start talking about the saddle position, and to save this video being 45 minutes long, we're going to assume that your cleat position and your foot setup's perfect already, because normally we'd start with that in a Bike Fit. But for a position point of view, we're going to start with the saddle. So the first thing you need to make sure of is A, that your saddle height is correct, or at least in that window of an optimal range for you, and B, that your saddle setback is okay. Because both of those things, saddle height and saddle setback, is going to affect your overall reach to the front end of the bike. So for example, if your saddle is set too far back or too high, then that might be the sole reason that you're resting your hands on the corners of the bars. And by correcting that and bringing the saddle forward or lower, you naturally shift your hands a little bit further up the bar. So we've done loads of videos in the past on saddle height and saddle setback, and on those other videos we've spoken in much more detail about how to find the best saddle height for you and how to find the correct saddle setback. So if you've not watched those already, go ahead and watch them. Hopefully editor Chris can put some links on the screen, or if not, they'll be in the description. But that's the best place to start if you're looking at specifically finding the right saddle position. So likewise, what we said with the stem length, it might not just be a case of slamming the saddle forward or bringing it lower so that brings you forward and closer to the bars. You may already have the perfect saddle position, but you just need to make sure that this is right first, and then we base all of our front end decisions off of this saddle position. So now, once you've done that, and assuming that your saddle position is in a really good optimal position, now we can start thinking about our front end. So stem length, bar width, shifter position, spacer stack, all of these factors that are going to influence where you want to put your hands when you ride. So which one of those do we look at first? Well, the answer to that is always shifter position, because if you've not got the shifters correctly positioned on your bars, this is going to influence the reach of your fit massively, and we could end up messing around with stem lengths and bar widths and all that sort of stuff and changing components, and then realizing, oh, my shifters are set really low, I'm gonna have to bring those up, and oh, I didn't need to make all of those changes in the first place. So get your shifter position right first, and then base all of your other front end decisions off of that. So how do we set a shifter position? Well, essentially we make sure that the bar is horizontal on the top and it doesn't angle up or angle down, and then once you've got that, you make sure that your shifter is set with a flat transition between bar and shifter. So there's no drop and there's no massive angle here between shifter and bar. And once you've got this flat position, this is a really nice ergonomic hand position for you to rest your hands in. So if you've made that adjustment and all of a sudden you can comfortably hold the hoods and you're not having to rest your hands on the corners of the bars anymore, then congratulations, you're finished. Go and ride your bike, have fun. If you're still struggling, then keep watching, because the next thing we need to address, if you're still resting your hands on the corners of the bars, is the reach of the front end. And that can be broken down into stem length and bar reach. And we're going to talk about both of those next. So the overall reach of a front end of the bike is made up of two main things. It is stem length and bar reach. Stem length is something that most people know about, but stems come in different lengths. So you can have shorter or longer ones to increase or decrease the reach of the front end of the bike. Bar reach or handlebar reach is one thing that not many people think about as much as stem length. And what bar reach is basically from this point here, from the center of the clamp on the stem or the center of the bar to a vertical of the drop, it's this distance between the 2 points. And handlebars come in different reaches. So some are longer and some are shorter. And these just adjust the front end of the bike exactly the same way that the stem length does. So you do really need to think about stem length and bar reach together rather than on their own. Now, obviously I've got a one-piece cockpit here rather than a two-piece stem and bar. So if you are choosing or looking at a one-piece cockpit, there's all the more reason to make sure that your stem length and bar reach work together, because they are one piece. They always have to be together. So you can't choose one or the other. So if we are still riding on the corners of the bars, after moving our saddle and after moving our shifters and making sure that they are in the right position, then now we want to adjust our stem length and bar reach. Effectively, we want to go shorter. So you want to shorten this position to the point where it is very comfortable to have the web of your thumb and your forefinger up into the corner of the shifter, which is the most ergonomic position, and it's the point where you can reach your brakes and reach your gears without having to shift your hand forward, which is another important point. If you are resting your hands on the corners of the bars, every time you want to brake or change gear, you're going to have to move, and it's going to get really tiring very quickly. So how do you decide how much you need to shorten your front end, either through stem length or bar reach or both, to make sure that you've got the right fit reach for you and you can comfortably reach the shifters? Well, ultimately it is a personal thing. I can't tell you, oh, everyone needs to shorten their stem by 2 centimeters or 3 centimeters. It is going to be individual based on you. So ultimately the best answer for this is always going to be trial and error. However, if you are really comfortable in this hand position and the distance of the web of the thumb and forefinger to the grip position of the shifter is 2 centimeters maybe, that might be a good place to start, by shortening your front end by 2 centimeters and seeing how it feels. Obviously the other answer is to go and get a bike fit, see a bike fitter, and you'll be able to test out different options within that session so that you can buy the correct components the first time, rather than having to buy loads of different ones and testing them out. So once you've done all of that, now you should be incredibly close, if not perfect, on your shifters and be able to grip the shifter where they're intended to. But the last thing we need to think about is the height of the front end. Now you might have done all this and be holding the shifters in a good spot, but still feel like you're stretched out and still feel like your shoulders are really dropping down. And if that's the case, then all you might need is a little bit of extra height at the front end. And the easiest way to affect that is by adding some spacers underneath your stem. And hopefully what effect that will have is allow your shoulders to rise up a little bit and stay relaxed. The flip side of that is, if you're in that nice hand position and your shoulders are really forced upwards, you might actually want to lower your front end. So the effect of taking some spacers out and dropping the stem down will allow your shoulders to drop and then relax again. And by the time you've done all of those adjustments, you should be in a nice hand position, relaxed shoulders, and be ready to ride. So hopefully that's helped you get a nice hand position on your bike if you've been struggling before. And if you want some more guidance with your bike fit or help with your bike fit, and you're struggling to find that online and struggling to find it through social media and wade through the minefield of all of those comments on social media, then we have set up a free community called the Bike Fit Academy over on Skool. There'll be a link for this in the description down below. It is completely free and it is for you to join, upload photos, upload videos of your bike fit, ask questions, get guidance from other cyclists, and I'll be dropping in and giving some guidance as well. There'll also be some free Q&As you can attend by me, so you can ask me some questions about your bike fit and I'll hopefully be able to answer them. So if you are looking for some guidance on bike fit online, head over to the Bike Fit Academy over on Skool. It is completely free, so I'll see you over there. If you do want to see some more videos like this, stay with us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel, or you can find us over on Instagram at UK Bike Fit.